This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
Who are the White Hats officially?
Okay, this goes back to the Q movement kicked off shortly after Kennedy's death, JFK's death in '63, so it's been on for 60 years.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans. In your hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. Now the trumpet summons us again, a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, a struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny. Today no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. All this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. We'll light our country and all who serve it, and the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
As a group of military officers, it determined that if a president could be assassinated, they're in bad shape. And so slowly they started to build up a team of senior officers who decided that something had to happen. Now at some point, they're looking at options as all military officers do when they're planning. And they don't say right and wrong. When they do a plan, they work out what's workable and what's not. Is this workable? Yes. Is this workable? Yes. Is this workable? Yes. Is this workable? So they're looking at workable options to save the United States. One of the options was a military coup d'etat. Literally, just take it over, clean up the filth, and then hand it back to the people. That was rejected, as was when we were looking at it in Australia before we even knew about White Hats. We determined that coup d'etat or a violent uprising would create such a wound that it would never be healed, and that's if it succeeded. And if it didn't succeed, then it would give the Black Hats every opportunity to do what they wanted to do, because the people just didn't believe it. They don't believe it now. After all that's occurred, the people still don't believe there's something odd going on. And so they decided to penetrate the institutions, the universities, the schools, the media, the unions, business, the politics, the judiciary, the constabulary, the military. That's what they did. They penetrated the lot. And so they grew and grew, and they worked undercover, and some had to go work undercover, and undercover's a dirty business because you do the dirty things with dirty people to prove your bona fides. And it's based largely on Marines and Navy. And there are somewhere between 200 and 300 flag-ranking officers, which is general rank, Marines and Navy, and other services too, but it's strongly based on the Marines and the Navy. And they've been working behind the scenes to penetrate, understand, and then when the time came, begin to undermine the Black Hats, the deep state. So that's what it is. That's what Q is.
We're putting together an army to take on this cultural Marxist and economic Marxist war that had been declared a long time ago.
And this last counter-offensive started the year before Trump was elected.
With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America.
And when there's 200 or 300 generals and admirals, that doesn't mean 200 or 300 people. Each one of those people controls a large swathe of capability, if that makes sense.
We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us.
And so that means you've got large amounts. And so it's taking time to select the right people that are trustworthy, because undercover work is hugely risky. And that's who it is. That's who's actually doing it. And these guys are just good soldiers that know what's right and what's wrong, what's lawful, what's not. And that's why they have pursued this in a completely lawful way. You can read the Law of War, and that's the rule they're following. And so they recruited Trump, the Q movement, the generals and admirals recruited Trump. You're going to become president, but you have to win it legitimately. We can't place you in there. You've got to win it. And once you're in, here's the plan. And Trump had a look at it and he said, okay, let's go.
In my former life, I was an insider. Now I'm being punished for leaving the special club. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. This is not simply another 4-year election. Nobody knows the system better than me. I have seen firsthand how the system is rigged against our citizens. This is a conspiracy against you, the American people.
And so it's a delicate game they've been playing. So that's what's been going on. And we can say that because the people who don't want to believe it don't want to believe it, and they never will, and that's fine. And the rest of us know this is the truth. And so I hope that answers your question. It's been a long, slow journey in the process. There are forces at play beyond your comprehension. They have this in hand, but you must still do what's required. You've got to step up when you've got to step up. You're going to do what you're going to do. It is incumbent upon each and every one of you watching this to understand that you must take a leading role.
This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, believe me. And this will be our last chance to save it. Join me in taking back our country.
So this is real. Whether you want to believe it or not you, but if people want to believe it or not, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. It's moving ahead. And when they say nothing can stop what's coming, nothing can stop what's coming. The forces at play are beyond the Masonic filth's comprehension. What's coming, you'll either survive it or break you in half, and I mean that quite sincerely. So toughen up, princesses out there.
I know that this is a challenging time for all Americans. We're enduring a great national trial, and we will prove that we can meet the moment.
The biggest problem is from within. It's these sick, radical people.
One of the important factors of the pause is that we see how bad they've done. Everybody sees that. It will be much easier for us to do what has to be done. When I get back into the Oval Office, we will totally obliterate the rest of the deep state. We're going into every alpha. We're going to CIA, the FBI, the DNI, the CIA, all of them. And we're going to release every single person that either traffic people or look the other way to traffic people. We're going to put it all out for the American people. All of it. Yeah, they have to understand something. We're going to hit you with a blowtorch, okay? No more games. We're going to hit you with a blowtorch. That blowtorch, we're going to not just deconstruct it, we're going to rip it apart. We're going to take the administrative state and we're going to take the deep state, and those of you we don't take to trial and put in prison, we're going to get rid of the rest of you. We're not just going to change policy, we're going to start by bottom-blowing personnel. And for every person in there today, you've got time enough to come forward as a whistleblower. If you don't come forward by high noon on the 20th of January, you're guilty.
We have it all. All of the illicit wealth in the world has been tracked by the National Security Agency for the past 15 years. We have every single one of you by the balls. You cannot survive this. You have one out. The Truth and Reconciliation out is make the deal, motherfucker, or you are going to die.
Donald Trump actually plays chess on a 5D level, and you never can anticipate what his next move is going to be.
Dan Scavino, who handles his social media, keeps sending hints out to us. We get messages in circuitous ways.
Trump's temperament is one of action. It's not, and it is no different than John F. Kennedy's. In terms of telling us things, optics, you better believe that he's very much a straight shooter in terms of actions that he's going to take or what he thinks needs to be done. Trump came out at this point announcing his candidacy because he knew and he wanted to test who was going to be against him. They said, oh, he suffered this incredible defeat. What we were working on was taking over school boards. We wanted to get Nancy Pelosi out. We wanted local councils. Yes, he had 23 out of 235 that didn't. They've made a huge, huge mistake with this one, because even though we thought what was going to happen was they were going to go after him for treason or sedition, but they did criminally charge him, but they didn't go to that extreme. As a result, he has due process, so he can subpoena people. You could go to Wikipedia and find Operation Mockingbird, that the CIA has been in there forever. Then Obama repealed the 1948 Smith-Mundt Act, which then permitted propaganda to be in broadcasting. It no longer said that it had to be credible. And so when he came out and said fake news, he warned us at the end of his speech that it is going to be very hard. The establishment, the media, the globalists are all going to come after. They're going to try to intimidate, but he needed to smoke them out. I really want people to understand that they need to go to other sources, because the media will not tell you about his successes. They will not tell you about anything that he does positively. Biden is the legitimate president, but he's the legitimate president of what is now the bankrupt U.S. corporation. And that was a treaty in 1871. Well, on September 12, 2018, Trump created an executive order. Within that, he outlined in future elections any kind of foreign or domestic interference, specifically for the 2020 election. So we say, how did he know some of these things were going to happen? Think about Edward Snowden and all the information he had. Think about the fact that our military, our Department of Defense Space Force, if you think that they don't have the actual real results from the election, then you're fooling yourself. You know, I sit on a task force at the Department of Defense, and the thing is, they've got the goods. They've got the goods, and Trump knew that if he presented any of the goods early on, we'd have a civil war. That he really felt that the people needed to see how bad it could get. He didn't try to subvert anything. What he's really done is he set up the deep state to come out, and that's why we're seeing all these things. They won't tell you about the devolution, that the continuity of government plan that he put in. The reason that his Mar-a-Lago was seized upon was that they really wanted to get the PEDS, the Presidential Emergency Act document, which is only what Trump knows and the military, that he had to put in place. Because before he left, he declared 2 national emergencies. And you know what? Biden hasn't reversed that. Biden has signed on to 3 of his executive orders to continue them going. So we have some very fascinating things that are going to come out. You know, they made fun of him because they assumed he broke protocol and walked in front of the Queen. No, if you go back and look at it, you will see he looked at her. She gave a wave with her hand. He proceeded. She took a couple of steps, he stopped, and he waited for her to join. That was an optic to tell us that he then was going to bankrupt the U.S. corporation, because it was the Vatican, the Crown, and the U.S. that was part since 1871. He told the Queen, I'm ending this. We're dissolving this corporation. We're going to go back to being a republic, and we'll all be separate. The Pope wasn't happy. You should find the picture of him visiting the Pope. It took 650 planes to remove our gold from the Vatican.
With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America.
The American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario, and this is information warfare.
The American people decided to take over the idea of information. They took over the idea of information, and they did it through social media. We have an army of digital soldiers. What we are now, what we call, I call them, because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency. This was irregular warfare at its finest.
I'm a wartime president. This is a war. This is a war, different kind of a war than we've ever had. 2024 is our final, biggest, and most important battle. The tables will turn, and we will destroy the deep state. We're going to destroy the deep state.
What I can confirm for you is that the military had wanted to take Obama out, and then they convinced Donald Trump to run, and so they postponed this plan.
We are witnessing the great reawakening. We started a great, great positive revolution.
Trust the plan. Trust and know there are a large group of people working on that plan, and they have every intention of making that plan come to complete fruition.
We're essentially fighting the entire globalist elite power structure that wants to control the world.
This is the corruption that President Trump was sent to Washington to get rid of, and it's all just starting to come to light.
In one of the first debates, Donald Trump had said in response to Jeb Bush that he had 200 generals behind him. And behind that are the troops of those generals.
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state.
What we're really seeing unfold is something that is to give us hope, but to also know that there are people who are fighting the evil on behalf of us, which is really, really important.
Most important battle in our lives is taking place right now as we speak. For 7 years, you and I have been engaged in an epic struggle to rescue our country. My fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country. And I say this, despite all that's happened, the best is yet to come. We're going to complete the mission. We're going to see this battle through to ultimate victory.
I'm not on the white hat or the black hat side. I am on the military side. I do get some information because of my security clearance that I only can repeat once I'm given an okay. We operate in silos, so it's only within my task force that we can share a lot of information.
If you're president again, will you lock people up?
The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us. Guantanamo Bay, which by the way, we are keeping open. And we're going to load it up with some bad dudes, believe me, we're going to load it up.
I've been told that, and it's the Navy that has the greatest credibility from the legal standpoint. The military is fully aware of the fact that it is going to be difficult to break through to some of the people, and in fact, with the concern to head off a civil war.
What happened during our Civil War is we borrowed a lot of money from France. And the City of London, the bankers from England came to our rescue. But the deal was that the US, they would create a corporation between the Vatican, the City of London and the Crown, and the US. The US would be the military, the finance would be the City of London, and the bank would be the Vatican Bank. And we were locked into that for 151 years.
That meant the bankers were going to be in control of our lives. Basically, the cabal that you hear reference to. There are 12 families that really control the finances all around the globe.
It is something that has been running the world. The cabal, the bankers have really been running things. And for Trump to go against them is, you want to talk about courage? You want to talk about a warrior? You want to talk about someone taking on the people that have been most powerful financially? Technically, we never really got free of the King of England or the Queen of England, even though the City of London is, in essence, a country unto itself. The Vatican is a country unto itself, and the District of Columbia is not part of the United States. D.C. was centered off and basically made their own entity with their own constitution. The U.S. Constitution does not apply to D.C. They don't have any representatives, and they operate on their own.
When Trump was coming over to meet with the Queen, something big was going on, because if we think back, that entire trip that he made around the world, he started in Saudi Arabia, and only the king normally has a sword in the sword dance, but it was given to him. After he left, that particular king was now out. He was arrested with 200 other Saudi Arabian royals, all put in the Ritz-Carlton because Trump dropped off documentation about the child and human trafficking that was going on. Then he made a trip to Israel because he had to let them know and start the Abraham Accord thinking going along. I mean, that had been going on in the background. But then he went to the Vatican. And so when Trump came over in 2019 to meet with the Queen, that was Trump speaking in optics to let us know that he had now informed her that his plan was to file bankruptcy and to end the U.S. corporation. I think that once Trump comes back, we will definitely be cutting our ties with some of the established Nazi organizations. The World Economic Forum, that's the Davos crowd, that's the corporate world, that is the cabal. And as Klaus Schwab has said with his Young Leaders program, that he's got people in every government. Hillary Clinton never, or the Clinton campaign never expected Trump to get as many votes as he received. They were already cheating.
When this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country.
I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people.
Evidently, the Supreme Court separated the federal role of president and separated the commander-in-chief of the military. And because Congress did not respond to several of his executive orders and declaring a national emergency, he turned it over to the military. And one thing is really important to know. There are only about 7 people, and then you've got the generals in the military, but there are only 7 people who are not part of the military that really know what's going on. He transferred all communications from every division of the military to Space Force. Space Force is not about going to the moon or Mars or anything like that.
That's right.
It is about the cyber communication because, as he has said, he's a wartime president. We're at war. We're not at a kinetic war. Hopefully we won't be. But we are in an informational war. And that is what allowed him to file the national emergencies and turn things over to the military. If anyone listening is skeptical, great. Because if you're skeptical, it means your mind is open enough that you're going to go do your own research and you're going to come to your own conclusions, which will probably be very much in sync with a lot of what you've been hearing.
One, get rid of your expectations and the fantasy in your mind of how you think this is going to play out, and pay attention to everything that is happening and just connect the dots.
Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion.
Today, the Department of Defense has started the process of formalizing what we have long known, the fundamental role of U.S. Special Operations in defense and foreign policy by elevating Special Operations forces to a level on par with military departments. We follow the vision of President John F. Kennedy, who predicted the rise of Special Operations nearly 60 years ago. He foresaw, quote, another type of war, new in its intensity, ancient in its origin, that would require a whole new kind of strategy, a wholly different kind of force, forces which are too unconventional to be called conventional forces, which are growing in number and importance and significance. The global demands for Special Operations forces, then and now, has confirmed President Kennedy's foresight. And now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations forces.
This persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country.
In the military, I started off my career as an air cavalry officer, flying helicopters, counter-reconnaissance, reconnaissance. Moved later into information warfare as a information operations officer, running psychological operations, computer network operations, deception, operation security, and electronic warfare, special electronic warfare. And I would tell you, as an unconventional warfare, information operations, information warfare specialist, the American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario.
President Trump is the commander-in-chief. It's undoubtedly the case, and he has pulled together all the military under the U.S. Space Force. All members of the U.S. Space Force are called guardians, no matter if you're a chief, master sergeant, or a cadet or a soldier, an officer. They are called guardians for a reason.
We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us now. They ought to switch over to paper ballots. It's all watermarked now. It's really incredible stuff what you can do with paper. Paper is actually high tech.
Watermark ballots in over 12 states have been part of a huge Trump and military white hat sting operation. And Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators, elected officials, bureaucrats, social media censorship mongers, fake stream media reporters, etc., are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over coming days, and will be living in barges off Gitmo to face military tribunals for sedition.
Please allow me to say how proud I am of the almost 25,000 National Guardsmen who have come in from all 50 states and territories to help support the Secret Service and the police departments with a peaceful transition of military power.
In my first term, I disrupted all of it. Oh, did I disrupt? That was called major disruption. And in my second term, which we're sort of having now, but I don't want the results. Under the normal rules, I'll be out in 2024.
We are now in the phase, in my view, where the War Generals Coalition, this is a coalition of 200 active duty generals are at work, 34 nations. I don't know the list, I just know it's happening. He has put the US into war, active war. The US, United States codes of court martial are in force. Military justice is in force. The Law of War Manual 2015, revised in July 23, is in force, and it is global.
In light of the countless sacrifices made by hundreds of thousands of American service members and our enormous progress over nearly 2 decades, we are now bringing these conflicts to their successful and responsible conclusion under the bold leadership of President Trump. Should any malign actors underestimate our resolve or attempt to undermine our efforts, we will not hesitate to restore deterrence and defeat any and all threats.
Read between the lines of Putin and President Trump. President Putin gave a football to his colleague in a very good ambiance, by the way. The press was there. And he said, Mr. President, I give you this ball as a gift. The ball is now in your court. For those who didn't understand what that means, that was the signal to the cabal. From now on, President Trump and Commander-in-Chief and Putin, up to now and going forward, with 34 nations are doing their job to liberate humanity from oppression. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know that justice is on the way, and it's beyond my control, or beyond our control. We are not in the military, and we're not supposed to know what happens tomorrow, because the four-star generals at war will certainly not make a press conference, and certainly not disclose what they're doing tomorrow.
With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. You and I have been in this battle side by side and together, and we've been taking on the entire corrupt system in Washington. We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. 2024 is our final battle.
I call on everybody to apply the light, because we are the guardians of humanity. It's us, our spirit, and our light obliterates the darkness.
This is a crusade! This is a holy war against the deep state!
In America, we don't worship government, we worship God.
Trump made a very ominous and dark speech about the decline of America, and while doing so, music began playing, and the music sounded exactly like a song called WWG1WGA, where we go one, we go all.
The former president of the United States, who wants to be the next president, is now directly spreading the slogans of the conspiracy cult QAnon.
Trump has posted or reposted more than 100 messages linked to QAnon since the beginning of the year.
The crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there, and we are actually.
QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring, and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon. They are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it.
But there's not a satanic pedophile cult being run by.
I know
you
nothing
don't
about
know that? Okay.
No, I don't know
you
that.
Just this
neither
week.
do you know that. When this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country.
On January 29, 2018, an Anon asked Q if Trump could work the phrase tip-top into his State of the Union speech as a shout-out to Anons. Instead, Trump said it at the 2018 Easter egg roll with the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland standing next to him.
Keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place.
Q has used the phrase Alice in Wonderland in posts. Trump didn't just fulfill an Anon's request, he pointed at Q. An Anon requested a hashtag Obamagate tweet from Trump, and Trump posted Obamagate without the hashtag. On April 12, 2018, Q posted Twitter down. Exactly 1 year later, on April 12, 2019, Twitter went down. The same day that Twitter went down, the NSA posted a picture of a Q on their Twitter page. This is important because Q has referred to the NSA in posts. On November 8, 2017, Trump posted a picture on Twitter with everyone giving a thumbs up. When an image is posted on Twitter, it's given a random file name when it's uploaded. If you connect the tips of the thumbs, it makes a Q, plus the file name for the image says do it Q at the beginning and ends with a Q. Q used plus signs to represent the puppet masters in a post. The House of Saud, the Rothschilds, and Soros. On November 6, 2017 at 5:07 and 57 seconds, Q posted, "Nothing is random, everything has meaning, plus plus plus." 7 minutes later, Trump posted on Twitter and the tweet had plus 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 at the end, just like the Q post. 50 minutes later, Trump tweets about Saudi Arabia. The plus 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 in the Q post represented the House of Saud. On November 11, 2017, Q said that one side of the triangle had been removed, referring to Saudi Arabia, and that the other sides are falling.
In the last few months, the Crown Prince, the now Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, has consolidated power and pushed out several other leading candidates for the Saudi throne. The 32-year-old bin Salman has made public statements about not only fighting terrorism, but also modernizing Saudi Arabia and tackling corruption. And the Trump administration counts him as a valuable ally.
Remarkable times in Saudi Arabia, the hugely influential Sunni Muslim kingdom. There's been an unprecedented anti-corruption purge with sweeping arrests of senior politicians and business leaders and members of the royal family.
Among those princes, military officers and top officials that were arrested in the last 24 hours, Prince Walid bin Talal. He's one of the world's richest men, a major investor in Citibank, Twitter, and the parent company of Fox News, 21st Century Fox. He's also somebody who has publicly feuded with President Trump, and President Trump has accused him of trying to buy U.S. politicians.
These are incredible times in Saudi Arabia. There's never been anything quite like it. And in some ways, it's very exciting. His supporters are saying this is the man who's going to lead us to the future, who's setting the stage for a modern economy, a modern society, and jobs for all the millions of Saudis who are pouring out of schools and universities. Others, though, especially the older guard, are extremely worried.
We're particularly pleased to be selling the jewels of Hannah de Rothschild. The jewels that we're selling, which comprise a magnificent pearl and diamond tiara, and a bracelet and matching brooch.
Billionaire George Soros is handing control of his $25 billion empire to his son, Alex. His son Alex is 37 years old. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, he said he's more political than his father, and he hinted at a significant financial role for the Soros organization in next year's U.S. elections.
Aviation call signs are unique identifiers assigned to aircraft, like a nickname, but the call sign doesn't have to be the same for every flight. In 2018 there were civil and military aircraft spotted flying with the call sign Q, or ANON. The United Parcel Service, the U.S. Army, and the U.S. Air Force. There was even a Royal Australian Air Force spotted flying with the call sign ANON. On December 7, 2018, Trump jumped on Air Force One to fly to Kansas. When Air Force One was wheels up, the call sign popped up as Q0. The fact that there was a Q in the call sign was big, but the question was, what did the zero mean? After the flight, Q confirmed that Q0 means Q+. That means Trump was flying with the call sign Q+. The reason that's big is because Anons think Trump is the person that posted on the Intel board as Q+. Not only does that point to Q, but it points to Trump being Q+. On October 2, 2018, Q posted 5347 by itself. On November 6, 2018, the U.S. Senate election results were 5347. Q called the Senate votes a month in advance. On January 13, 2018, Q posted checkmate, which is a victory in chess. In 2024, Trump posted a hashtag by itself. In chess the hashtag means checkmate. On October 5, 2018, Q posted, "The picture will be the signifier," and dropped the link to an account with the handle, QAnonBaby.
They respect us. That's more important. Look at that beautiful baby. Look at that beautiful baby. Wow, what a baby. What a baby. That is a beautiful baby. That's like from an advertisement. Look how happy that baby is. So beautiful. Thank you, darling. That's really nice. It's a great thing. Is that your husband? That's a great thing. Thank you. Congratulations, husband. Man. What a picture. But we're going to have the country all set.
On July 17, 2019, Trump stopped in the middle of his speech to point out a baby, took a picture with his hands and said, "What a picture." When the camera pulled back, the baby had a big Q on their back. This happened on the 17th day of the month. Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. On October 10, 2019, Trump posted a video on Twitter. At the 1 minute and 34 second mark, Q baby pops up. If you hold the 1, and add the 3 and 4, you get 17. The GOP hearing on the DOJ's investigation into the Clinton Foundation was set for December 5, 2018. Q started dropping D5 in posts like something big was going to happen. On November 30, 2018, George Bush Sr. died. His funeral date was set for December 5, 2018, and the GOP hearing was cancelled. On December 3, 2018, Q asked what the odds are that the Bush funeral would be on December 5, and pointed us to the empirical rule. Then Q posted, "Postponed, well played Deep State, please allow us to counter." Q's promise to counter had Anons wondering if something was going to happen at the funeral. That's when the secret envelopes came into play. Cameras just happened to be in the perfect positions.
After 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
Pick the people to run those agencies and the deputies that are pledging allegiance to the new world order and good governance. And then I think you have the Inspector General do some spot audits to make sure that there is real compliance.
The burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way.
Things like technological change, things like mass media, things like the market are all subject to our control.
Since then, we established a liberal world order, and now is the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there.
Look, I think that everyone is going to have to take a hard look at where they want to be at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights.
The chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
On December 11th, 2017, Q posted, "Follow the wives." All the envelopes were delivered to the wives. An anon asked Q what was in the envelopes. Q answered, "Our promise to counter." In 2020, an anon made a D5 connection. A declassified memorandum for the Director of National Intelligence, about the unmasking of General Flynn. The document's date is the 4th of May. 4 equals D, and May equals 5. Q replied, they thought it meant December 5th. On February 22, 2018, Q posted, "Fight, fight, fight." When Trump was shot, and had Secret Service covering him, not knowing if there were more shooters, he broke protocol to put his head and fist up to say, "Fight, fight, fight." If he was going to die, he wanted those to be his last words.
Each of you enters service at a truly exciting time for our country. For we are witnessing the great reawakening. With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America. Now we are calling for a great reawakening of nations, for the revival of their spirits, their pride, their people, and their patriotism.
On September 19, 2017, Trump called for a great reawakening of nations in his UN speech. On October 6, 2017, Trump said it was the calm before the storm, and on October 28, 2017, Q dropped the first post.
You guys know what this represents? Well, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out. You guys know what this represents? And somebody that's been with me from day one, he's a real general. You know, we have the real generals and we have the fake woke generals that did so poorly in Afghanistan, should have all been fired, but this is a real general, Keith Kellogg. Right, Keith? And this is a great group. It's good to see you, Keith. He's been with me from before day one, right? He said, that guy should run. We got to get him to run. I like those guys. They were here before I ran. You know, there's quite a few of them. General Flynn, along with General Kellogg and some of our other friends. We have so many friends. We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us now. We had 17 Congressional Medal of Honor winners endorse me. When I first came here, I was only in Washington 17 times in my life.
On December 9, 2017, at 10:34, Q posted a quote thanking the military. Then Q pointed us to timestamps, and let us know a proof was incoming. 3 hours later Trump tweeted the exact same thing without the quotation marks. Q quoted Trump's Army-Navy game tweet 3 hours before he posted it. On February 22, 2019, Q posted the best is yet to come.
My fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country, and I say this despite all that's happened, the best is yet to come.
For we still believe that the best is yet to come.
On June 13, 2020, Q posted, "Seeing is believing. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth, you must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. It had to be this way. This is not another 4-year election. 2020 to 2024 has been called the pause. Let the deep state steal 2020, and let the people see for themselves." In 2022, Trump confirmed it.
One of the important factors of the pause is that we see how bad they've done. So we will be able to do it properly, and it will be much easier. Everybody will agree with us because everybody sees what a bad job has been done during this 2-year period, and it will be a 4-year period. Everybody sees that. It will be much easier for us to do what has to be done.
Those text messages were sent from the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. I looked at past inaugurations as far back as George Bush. Not once did the military walk up and stand behind the president. The man on the right is a judge advocate general, and the man on the left is military intelligence. What Trump says when they're standing behind him is also important.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning. Because today, we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
On November 1, 2017, Q posted, "The only way is the military, once 11.3 verifies as first marker." Some people assumed it was an arrest date, but they were way off. 11.3 is a section in the DoD Law of War Manual discussing belligerent occupation of a country. End of occupation and duration of Geneva Convention obligations. The status of belligerent occupation ends when the conditions for its application are no longer met. Certain Geneva Convention obligations with respect to occupied territory continue for the duration of the occupation after the general close of military operations. End of occupation. Belligerent occupation ceases when the conditions for its application are no longer met. In particular, as discussed below, the status of belligerent occupation ceases when the invader no longer factually governs the occupied territory or when a hostile relationship no longer exists between the state of the occupied territory and the occupying power. Belligerent occupation ends when the occupying power no longer has effectively placed the occupied territory under its control. For example, an uprising by the local population may prevent the occupying power from actually enforcing its authority over occupied territory. Similarly, the occupying power's expulsion or complete withdrawal from the territory would also suffice because the former occupying power generally would not be able to control sufficiently the occupied territory. Rest in peace, Mr. President, JFK. Through your wisdom and strength, since your tragic death, patriots have planned, installed, and by the grace of God, activated the beam of light. We will forever remember your sacrifice. May you look down from above and continue to guide us as we ring the bell of freedom, and destroy those who wish to sacrifice our children, our way of life, and our world. We, the people. This has never been attempted before. The use of the general public to counter the propaganda push by the controlled media. Analysis indicates that situational awareness of the general public is expanding at a massive pace. Attacks indicate the loss of generalized information control by the mainstream media, military, and civilian alliance.
An explanation from a military perspective why the White Hats fought the war the way they did. How do they get away with it and how do they do it? Planning process we go through when we are solving large complex problems, and it's like pulling teeth without anaesthetic. It's not fun. But at the end of that process, what falls out the bottom is a rational, workable plan. We the people have rightly experienced deep frustration and even fury at the apparent inaction by the White Hats. We helplessly watched our businesses and livelihoods being dismantled and our homes and possessions being stolen by unlawful government fiat, our freedoms being trampled under the tyrannical boots of the Black Hats and their truly treasonous political, judicial, military, constabulary and media minions, and our health and even our lives and the lives of our loved ones being decimated by psychopathic and mercenary medical profession. There are plenty of good reasons to be furious. We have seen that perhaps for the first time, the manner in which this war for the world was fought was not only the best way it could be fought, but also in reality the only way we could have won. But we must remember that the alternative was the unthinkable, the complete destruction of the human race. We the people should be grateful we survived. We only did so due to the sacrifices of life and limb of the White Hats, and also of the uncounted and uncountable men and women who comprise the digital army, who worked tirelessly and bravely to defeat our collective enemy. This was indeed their greatest hour. We, the world as well as the US, owe the Commander-in-Chief Donald J. Trump and the White Hats a debt we will never be able to repay, but one we will always remember. The Black Hats controlled every aspect of life on Earth, everything. The White Hats had nothing. There wasn't a stone on this planet that wasn't under their control. So how do you win against that when the adversary has everything and all you have is the will to survive, to fight? That's all you've got. So you start. You start. The military planning is called the center of gravity, and you've got to understand this. The center of gravity. What is the center of gravity? It's 1960. The president's just been shot. And you are starting to put together a plan to understand how to take back the world. Now, this plan was so complex and difficult that they thought they were going to reach it with Ronald Reagan. So add a few years, add a few decades, and they're finally ready. Control the corporations, control the money supply, and then it starts to flow down. And the center of gravity will change as the operation advances. Once that's done, you've got a new center of gravity and a new center of gravity. Now, this is going to be hurtful for some, but the will of the people, where does that come on the list? When you think about the physical mechanics of it, where do they come? Stone, motherless, last. Now I know that's hard to hear. This is the brutal mathematics of war. The center of gravity for them, or the bad guys, was the control of the corporations. What's the center of gravity for the White Hats? What's the one thing that if the Black Hats got a hold of, the White Hats had no chance? The one thing the White Hats had to protect at all costs, even at the cost of people dying. Operational security. What is operational security? Operational security is every measure taken by a force to protect what it is about it that the enemy can't know. To protect the enemy's disposition, their capabilities, their locations, their numbers. Operational security. The White Hats, it was the one thing they could not afford. They could not afford a break in security. Because if the Black Hats found out about it, game over. Because the Black Hats controlled everything that went bang. Every military, every constabulary, every judiciary, every polity, You're done. You're finished. It's over. Let me tell you a story that few people know anything about. And one of the leaders was there sitting in the jungle with his troops. They heard the Indonesians in their home village killing their women and children. And they heard them screaming. The Indonesians went in on purpose, intentionally, to attack the women and children so the men had come out. They had to stay where they were. Had they gone back, they'd have been wiped out. Now how's that for a tough choice? This is the brutal mathematics of war, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a war from the start. Now, the White Hats had to watch all of these depraved acts continue as they had to control security. But having said that, they had to give the people something, some hope. Does that make sense? Because what would have happened to the people if they had no hope? Just given up. Most people would have just given up. So what did they do? They had to leak information that they couldn't afford to leak out, but do it in such a way that the adversaries would laugh. It was a laughing stock. They would laugh at anybody. It was so nonsensical, it was so ridiculous, meaningless things. You're loons. And yet it was enough for a handful of people to get a hold of it and think, hang on a second, and then one by one, the truth started coming out. It's just enough to keep people frustratingly hooked. And then they said it's going to happen on this date, but it never happened. It's going to happen on this date, and it never happened. But then somebody in New Zealand figured out they were paragraph numbers from a document called the Law of War. And people went back and went, oh, now I get it. But bit by bit, they fed us breadcrumbs. And anybody that picked up that breadcrumb was ridiculed and lampooned. So they gave us enough, but they had to do it in such a way that nobody would believe it was true, including the Black Hats. And so we, the core, kept the faith. And bit by bit, we grew. OPSEC, Operational Security, was their centre of gravity. They were giving nothing out, regardless of what the Black Hats did to the people. Once again, this is war. This is brutal. Not everyone's built for this. But they did give us a few crumbs in the form of gift. Please, you must understand, and you will, in time, the war was fought the best way it could, and the only way we could have won. And if people get angry and they challenge you and say, but these people died, you say, don't blame the White Hats. Why are you blaming the White Hats? Who did the killing? The Black Hats. And by the way, who allowed the situation to arise where the Black Hats were in that position of power? Everybody put your hand up, because I'm responsible. We all of us, except maybe a couple that woke up about 40 years ago, have been screaming at the mirror, screaming at the mirror for 40, 50 years saying, wake up, you dumb bastards. But the rest of us, we believe what we believe. So we are responsible. When someone challenges you and said, why didn't the White Hats save my daughter? Be patient, be kind, and help them understand it was the Black Hats that killed them, not the White. And we allowed it to happen. Thankfully, we have woken up and turned it around, and be grateful we survived. And they are terrified because they have lost, they know it.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario. This is information warfare.